Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There's no Vinny here. Where's the toot toot? Vinny, if anybody's seen Vinny, please notify the authorities immediately because he's not here right now. But that's okay. I'm here. I'll do the toot toot. Toot toot. Time to hop aboard the Atari train, everybody. Vinny is I guess he's running late. He'll be here. And I hope he's here soon because we got some really cool stuff to go through, guys. And as we all know, Vinny brings the funk. I can't do this alone. I need the funk. But yeah, I guess Vinny's running a little bit late. But we'll get started without him. That's okay. I'm sure I can carry this alone for however long I have to do it. So this is the Atari Network podcast. We are going to be covering a couple different things here today. Let me, usually Vinny talks while I add the stuff to the screens. He's messing up the whole flow now. Add that to the screen, add this, and off we go. Hey, Hugo, how you doing? Hugo says he'll take Vinny's place. I might have to take you up on that. Question is, can you bring the funk? Because he is the funk of the show, obviously, being Funkmaster V and all. Yeah, absolutely. Omega T, good to see you in there. Ti, Omega Ti, I guess. Yeah, we're going to be talking a little bit about Lunar Lander, maybe not a whole lot. But there is some news about the new Lunar Lander beyond. We have Atari returning. Atari returning to the arcades very soon, possibly, with some interesting games. And a very interesting three-person cabinet that they kind of leaked a picture of. But more importantly, we have an awesome interview that Vinny did show up for earlier in the week. It was an interview I've been trying to get on the channel and on the podcast for a really long time, and I was happy to have it. The senior producer at Atari Corp. So Atari Corp was obviously the Jack Tramiel era of Atari. We were able to get him to do a midweek interview with us, and we're going to present a condensed version here on the show, and we'll have the full version Tuesday. I guess Vinny really is really running behind here. Maybe I'll take you up on that, Hugo. Hugo said he hasn't showered yet, so he can, as a matter of fact, bring the funk. Good to see you, Justin, over at Atari AO, saying, let's go, boys. I guess we can just jump right into the interview, give Vinny some time. So for those of you that don't know, the senior producer of Atari Corp was a man named Ted Tahquechi, and he was involved in quite a few things, mostly Jaguar stuff, and the interview is going to have a very Jaguar focus, and I hope that's okay with you guys. The full interview, we do get into 7800. We actually talk 5200, quite a bit of Lynx. But, I had to condense it down, and I figured let's do a Jaguar focus for the start of the interview here. So we'll go ahead and start playing that for you guys, and we'll see if Vinny decides to show his face. So let me get the proper layout here. We'll take Vinny down.
Master V, and I got John Stoll here, and we got a special guest, baby, Ted Tahquechi.
There's Vinny.
My! Now, if you don't know who this cat is, he is what you call a big wig for Atari through the years. I think the mid 80s to the damn end. He was there with gun blazing, trying to keep this MF alive. So introduce your man here. You guys are your buddies or something behind my back, so go ahead.
No, I've been trying to get him on the show here for a very, very long time, and I'm so excited to have him. And I think I could introduce him, but I think it's better to have Ted go ahead and give us everybody. We have a very special guest. I'm sorry to interrupt the interview here, but we have somebody who I didn't think would show his face. We have Vinny Vineyard, Funkmaster V.
What is going on?
I had to do the toot toot. I'll have you know, it is not a good start to the show.
Oh well, you did well. I'm sure you're the popular one now. Nobody gives a shit.
Here, let me take this interview off of here real fast.
Oh, okay. Well, you don't have to do it. I went to see Dune, and Dune
Oh, so you
2.
were watching a movie instead of
I
okay.
regret everything. It was expensive. It's terrible. It was 3 hours long. I would have rather punched myself in the groin for 3 hours and watch that horse crap. But you had the
Well,
TED interview up.
I had the TED interview up. I figured that would give everybody a look at Vinny.
Oh,
Since they were all missing you. Hugo was going to step in for you. He hadn't showered, so he could bring the funk. He said.
okay. Now let's talk about Hugo for a second. Now Hugo was like, "You're not even." He was trying to send me emails or something, and Hugo. And I've been trying to email Hugo. I'm going to tell you something, folks. This controller is Hugo's controller. He makes this. Now, I don't know if he mass produces these or if he sits up at night lonely and he crafts this. This is for the 7800, John. Do you have one of these? You sent me this.
Yeah. Yeah, I passed it along from Hugo. Yep.
I love this.
Yeah, and fantastic.
I want, it looks kind of weird because the two buttons are there, but when you hold it, it's perfect. Yep. It is just absolutely perfect. It's an ingenious design. And I want him to sell this as the brass knuckle punch. I want this to be the Funkmaster V brand 7800 controller. This is my favorite 7800 controller there is. And I want there to be a disco ball on top.
Oh, that'd be cool, actually.
I want there to be brass knuckles on the sides. I want
disco ball, brass buttons, and
brass knuckles.
Should put your right in the middle. Make the joystick on your nose. Yeah, I think that'd be cool. No, that's a and am I mistaken? I've never seen one like that. It seems like such a simple idea, but I don't think I've seen anybody else do it like that. I mean, I'm sure other people have, but
I've never seen it before.
It's great. I haven't either, but I mean.
And I like it so much. Hugo's not saying anything. You said it. Can you bring up? I don't know if I can bring up. I've got my your audio's clipping weird. Do you know what's going on with your audio? Now you're off completely. But while he's doing that, my new channel. And I need everybody's help that watches this, is because I've got a brand new YouTube channel called Atari 7800 Forever, because the old channel that I was on, it was destroying my algorithm. I would have Atari stuff, and then we would do the entertainment stuff, and it was terrible. So I've got a new channel called Atari 7800 Forever. And please, it's on YouTube. Just search it. And I've got a couple new videos. I got one about... Donkey Kong XM, and then I've got one about Tempest 4000, and then I got some other of my old ones. But go over there and like and subscribe and high five it if you can. Also, John is having some technical difficulties, I assume, but I saw Bentley Bear Crystal Quest hit the VCS store. And did you see that, John? You can shake your head yes or no. Did you see?
Can you hear me? Is it still clicking? Kinda.
You sound like crap. Are you in a new place?
Yeah. Well, I moved stuff around, but I've streamed since then. I've done all kinds of stuff, so I'm not.
It's variants. It's like going in and out. But have you seen the Bentley? Have you seen the Bentley Bear Crystal Quest in the VCS store? The artwork for that is awesome. I wish the box looked like that. But and then they've got Space Duel for the 7800, which is okay, but it's without the tethering. I don't know why anybody would really be interested in that. But so anyway, Hugo, I love your controller. I want to do business. Please go support Atari7800forever.com on YouTube. If you have a VCS, Bentley Bear is in the hizzy. Even though I think Bentley Bear plays very well with the Pro Line controllers. It's the first time he's taking himself out. I win. This is a crazy episode of the podcast. But let's read some of these comments here. I got my television system changer today. Is that something that's like a diaper? Vinny Sabotage just set up to shut you down. That's exactly how I do things, man. It's diabolical. You know, I know a lot of you guys love John, and John's stuff is fantastic. It's so funny. Last July, he was like, I want to do a channel, but I don't think I do any good. And he's monetized. He's put hard work in. His channel is unreal, the Atari Network, and he's got merchandise. And jealousy is got.
I might have to back out, Vinny, and back all the way in. Is it any better? It can't be better. I didn't do nothing.
It sounds better. It was really? It sounds a little tinny,
okay,
like trebly, but you're at least the same. It was kind of clipping and going. Volume was.
Let me know if it happens again. I don't know what's going on. Maybe the mic's going out.
I hope not.
Yeah,
look, Ramey's here. Hugo's here. I'm
Crypto.
Glad you like it. Oh, and the let's see, the Intellivision System Changer plays 2,600 games on the Intellivision.
Yeah, Jet Screamer. He was talking about the Intellivision during the intro. He wanted a song for Intellivision or something like that.
Does Jet Screamer know that we're an Atari podcast? I don't know. Some of these guys are all like retro guys. Me and John are Atari people.
Hey, we invite everybody here, you know.
But we don't know. We don't know shit about anything else.
We can't talk to you about anything else, but we can talk Atari at you. You know, you can talk Intellivision in the chat. We'll talk Atari on the screen. It'll be a good time.
It's not that we don't want to. It's just we're ignorant. I never had an Intellivision or an Odyssey.
No.
But I did. I will say this. I don't know if anybody cares. I do have a friend up from Florida. And like I always say in my reviews, I don't have friends to test games with.
Right.
And so I had an Odyssey 2 game I really liked. I wanted to play called, it was a homebrew too. It was called, it's not Robo City, but what was it? It was Mr. Roboto. And it's kind of like a very primitive Archon with like chess.
Right.
And it's a 2-player game and you can fight each other. And it was great. If you have an Odyssey 2 or a video pack, the game Mr. Roboto is unreal. Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto.
Exactly.
It's a great game. So, and then we've been playing some Atari VCS games, and some of those games to play 2 players, you have to have the modern controller. Like you couldn't play Vector Sector, you can't play Caverns of Mars. It's pretty interesting.
I'm interested. Obsidian's leaving us at 8.
Why?
Apparently, Food Fight Culinary Comment, and I don't want everybody to leave the podcast, is live on Discord soon. What's going on with that, Obsidian? Because whatever they're doing, we did it first, right? I mean, whatever they're doing with Culinary Combat.
I just shipped out the trophies, too.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Are they doing a tournament?
That's what I'm wondering. What are they doing, Obsidian? Are you cheating on us with? Well, I mean, if it's actually Atari, I don't blame you. But
and he just asked, "Is there a Mr. Roboto game?" Let me see if that's the right word, Mr. Roboto for the Odyssey.
My joke didn't land very well, Vinny, because somehow it got minimized. But I had it all worked out. This was going to represent you while you were away.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, but I couldn't make it big, and I need to make it bigger, I guess. So
hey, that's what she said.
Well, yeah, that's always the issue.
There's a game called Mr. Roboto for the Odyssey 2, and it's great. It's really, for what it is, it's very simple, but it's a like chess and Archon at the same time.
Gotcha. No, they were doing it first, but we had more. At least we had more people show up, I guess.
We had too many. We had too many.
We had to turn people away. The guy I turned away, he's still waiting, by the way.
Yeah, he's still at the bus stop waiting for the bus to come.
Jet Screamer collects tons of consoles. But we got a lot to get into before we get deep into the chat. Because, Vinny, we did, and I started showing it, obviously, but we did an awesome interview And I don't think you haven't seen the cut version. You haven't seen it at all, have you?
I haven't had time, man.
You've been
crazy.
busy.
Yeah.
So I cut it down to just the Jaguar stuff. So,
Okay.
With the full version will be up on probably both of our channels by Tuesday, I would think. And we talked Lynx, we talked the condition of the company. Well, maybe a teeny bit. We talked a little bit more than just Jaguar. But for our presentation here, Vinny, I thought it'd be fun just to have kind of a Jaguar focus. What do you think?
Well, you're the boss, and this guy was very knowledgeable, and everybody talks about the sexy Nolan Bushnell era of Atari. And it's like, I was thinking about this. It's like describing being a fan of a football team. I've been the Jets fan, and there were years where the Jets were the best with Joe Namath. And there's been years where the Jets have been god-awful. And I feel like a lot of years in this Atari 50, 52 now, or whatever it is, there was a lot of years that the Atari was the New York Jets. And this guy was like the head coach in a way for a lot of bad years. Yeah. But when we talked about him, he didn't seem like he appreciated any sort of like jabs or jokes, because he feels like there's a lot of misinformation out there about the Jaguar, and they were their feet were held to the fire in a way on how to program it, which I think is fascinating. And I'll let him talk about it. But he was they worked their ass off. It wasn't like a bunch of people at Atari were drunk and high and they just came in at noon. He said he spent several nights sleeping on the floor to finish these Jaguar games. And he had some hits. He was a part of Tempest 2000, and Test Drive and stuff when he went off to work for Accolade. But he had some misses too, like what is it, Kasumi Ninja? How do you pronounce that?
Yeah, Kasumi Ninja. Yeah, that's in there too. We have most of that's going to be covered in the thing, but I think you're right, Benny. Like, the big thing is, I think the misconception is the Jaguar sucked. Nobody liked it. They didn't work hard on it. And I think that's killing him. I think, well, maybe not killing him, but he wants to clear it up, because it's clear that these guys were working their butts off on this thing.
Working their butts off. And there's, let the thing go. I just want to say that, he's got, he's proud. He's proud of what he did. Mm-hmm. And he worked there for over 10 years, I think. And our last interview was with a guy who was kind of the Atari PR guy for Hasbro Interactive. So we're kind of hopefully showing you, we're filling in the gaps of that 50. It's not just the 70s and early 80s and now. There's the 90s and the early 2000s too. So hopefully you guys appreciate that.
Next, we got to find early Infograms person to talk to.
If you can figure out how to speak French, we can try that.
Oui. All right, let's throw this on the stage. I did cut out a lot of the banter because there was so much good stuff I wanted to throw in.
Unreal.
Cut. So we'll include our own banter, but I'll throw it up here. Here's our interview with the senior producer of Atari Corp.
Funkmaster V, and I got John Stoll here, and we got a special guest, baby, Ted Tahquechi. Oh my! Now, if you don't know who this cat is, he is what you call a big wig for Atari through the years. I think the mid '80s to the damn end, he was there with gun blazing, trying to keep this MF alive. So introduce your man here. You guys are your buddies or something behind my back. So go ahead.
No, I've been trying to get him on the show here for a very, very long time, and I'm so excited to have him. And I think I could introduce him, but I think it's better to have Ted go ahead and give us an introduction of who you are and why we should care.
Let's see. I was a senior producer. I started at Atari out of college and worked my way up the corporate ladder there for many, many years, from being a tester in the games department or in the QA department up through being a senior producer. And then in the last days when things were closing up, then I headed off to another company called Accolade, and then ended up at Mattel Toys as the director of their product of their Hot Wheels division for a lot of years too.
But so what were the years that you were at Atari?
All right, hold on.
I was there from about 87.
There we go.
So I didn't catch that in the first time. He was the head of Hot Wheels?
Yeah, for Mattel when he was over there.
So the toys, right?
Yeah.
Not.
Yep.
Well, man, he did well for himself. He came out.
Oh,
okay.
You ain't kidding. Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very cool.
I mean, we didn't obviously talk about that for obvious reasons, but yeah, the guy did awesome. So.
Yeah, he did great. All right, let it rip.
Until about 96 or so.
So we're talking 7800.
Mm-hmm.
The end of the 7800.
Now, did you fool with the computers at all?
I was kind of like the guy that was the close. They called me the closer. So anything from the time that I left the test department and became an associate producer, everything that was needing to be finished up kind of got dumped on my plate. So I worked on some 5200 games. I worked on some 2600 games that were sitting around for literally decades. I worked on a bunch of Lynx games. I worked on some Falcon 030 games and some other software titles.
Time out. What is a Falcon 030? We didn't even get to go into that. What is that?
That's a computer too.
Okay.
There was
never even heard of it.
Yeah, see, I'm not knowledgeable about computer stuff. We should have somebody on the show that knows all about
We don't know shit about shit. What are you talking about? We're gonna change right now. All right, let's keep it rolling.
No, but yeah, the interesting thing, I cut it out, but I wish he remembered what else he worked on, because like the 5200 stuff, he couldn't remember what it was, and basically
it was one game,
and they threw it in a drawer. So
yeah, and he worked on one at 7800 game, and he can't remember.
Yep, man. I guess neither of them came out. So, but
who knows?
Titles for the Falcon 030, one ST title, a whole bunch of Jaguar stuff.
You know, there's a lot of mystery, especially around the Jaguar and how, that lifespan and what happened with the Jaguar, where it was some games were absolutely excellent, like Tempest and Alien versus Predator. And some were some of the worst video games ever made and released in the history of God and creation.
He doesn't
deny it. Since you were you knew there was a huge variance of quality that was coming out of there. What did you have a lot of stress on you at the time? What was that like?
It was tough. And, I think that there were, I was a huge Tempest fan, so I was really involved in the development of that one all the way from the beginning, from the time that we signed the contract all the way up until it was released. And like I said, I was telling you guys earlier that I was the primary voices for it, and my wife was the female voices.
Wow!
And I have some questions for her, by the way.
I can drag her in. She's in the she'd kill me. But it was one of those things. It was a passion project, right? And I think a lot of the stuff that the Jaguar were passion projects that really shined, right? So like Aliens versus Predator really shined because the people that were on it were in it to win it, and they did everything that they could to make it work. And it just so happened that they had a team that was able to pull it off. But the development environment for the Jaguar was kind of far from stellar. I don't know how much you guys know about the whole backstory with that, but there was not a lot of support for developers, and a lot of it was if you can't program for this, then you shouldn't be in the games development industry, and just all of these things, and it was very disheartening. So it really did show in some of the titles, and especially with the developers that were maybe not as seasoned as others.
So in your world with video games, the producer sounds like he's the guy that kind of just makes everything. You're almost like the director. It's almost like that's what you're just figuring out, okay, we got to do this. We got paperwork over here. Is that kind of what you did as a producer?
Well, the actual title itself, when I worked for Atari Accolade and Mattel, the actual title was senior producer, but pretty much everywhere else would call it senior product manager.
Okay.
And basically the encapsulated description of that job is you're responsible for every aspect of a product's title for release, from design all the way up through testing and development, choosing programming teams if that's what you need to do. Even doing the marketing and that kind of stuff, and working with the marketing department, working out a marketing plan. And so, I mean, you kind of got your fingers in every aspect of a title, and that makes.
I think it's interesting. I think Atari's marketing was really good, and he was involved in that too. I don't think that was where the Jaguar failed. You know what I'm talking about, John? Like, I think. The marketing, they had decent marketing campaigns and ads and stuff like that. And everybody knew about the Jaguars. So I think they did a good job with marketing.
Did everybody know about it?
Yeah, I think everybody knew it. They saw it and they were like, I don't like it. But I think everybody was aware.
I guess so. My thought was, I think the marketing kind of hurt it too, because they really pushed and of course they would. I mean, what are they going to say? We're equally matched to the competition, but they really pushed that 64-bit thing, and it hurt it. Everybody wanted 64-bit games, so when you got the whatever they got, the Kasumi Ninjas and stuff, you're like, yeah, this is okay, but where's the other 48 bits or whatever? So.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after this.
Yeah. Yep.
Titles like Kasumi Ninja and stuff like that were not, great, kind of painful, because, you're there and you're banging on the developer and saying, we need to make this better, and here's how we need to make it better. And, there was cases where they couldn't get it done.
Yep. And the reason I actually reached out to Ted, and I got to get this answer because the guy that wanted it will kill me if I don't. He said he bought the game because he assumed, or he had heard or read in an advertisement, that you could collect artifacts.
We're talking about Kasumi Ninja there. I don't think I cut in the part where I mentioned that.
And enter a 3D world and do fighting and stuff. Was there supposed to be any more to Kasumi Ninja than what we got? And if so, how much more?
Yeah, originally, because we were early days with the Jaguar and, early days with 3D titles and that sort of stuff. And because Aliens versus Predator was doing really well in all of the marketing, shows that it had gone through, it was one of those things that, we got to put 3D aspect in every title that we can. And we need to put, everything that we can into every game that we can, so that it shows off what the Jaguar can do. And some of that was to the detriment of the actual game itself. And Kasumi Ninja was the case of that, is that the development team, we were running down the street working on the actual fighting game, and to create a fighting game is, no small feat in itself. And between having the characters, working the design of the characters, balancing the characters, and then talking about actually getting the moves, and if you want to talk about the Jaguar controller, we can talk about that later too. I mean, that's
not a fighting game controller. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's not a really an anything game controller in my opinion, but that's just me, I guess. But yeah, and then we're running down that road, and we can see the finish line, and we know that what we need to do in the last 90 days, 120 days of a game's development is all tuning, right? No matter what it is, you get it to alpha so that you've got all of your features in and your feature complete, and then you start tuning the gameplay, and you just hammer on the gameplay until management tells you it's time to make it go, to market. And that's what we were doing. So we were post alpha, we were running down that street, and then I'm not going to say who, but there was managerial decisions that were made that we needed to add the 3D component into it and design that into it, because everything in the Jaguar had to be 3D because of Aliens versus Predator.
Wow.
So that's kind of where
I don't know if this is in the interview, but I think that's the most telling thing about the Jaguar. And I said this in the interview, and I don't know if you left it in, but can you imagine if they just let people make good games for the Jaguar 2D, and occasionally work on something that's 3D. Like, hey, we're going to do Alien versus Predator, but we're going to do a lot of platform games with all the colors, and we're going to do a shoot 'em up with all the colors, and we're going to do a puzzle game with all the, but just keep it simple. And it's almost like if they implemented the philosophy of the Atari VCS now, which is just, it doesn't matter if it looks like it was made today or 20 years ago. Is it a good game? And that's how you save a system, because you can go back and play 7,800 games on it now, and you can play the good games that you want to play, and all the new stuff, all the old stuff, all the points in between. It would have been the Atari probably was never going to defeat Nintendo and Sega at that point.
No.
But it could have been a profitable third place.
Yeah, well, I think they felt like in order to compete, they really had to throw out there that they were way ahead of the game. I think they felt like they needed something like that. And maybe they did. Maybe, who knows what they did. Maybe they did focus testing and Atari was no longer, a notable brand or people didn't think highly of it. I don't know. But
so would you rather have a bunch of good 2D games or a bunch of terrible 3D games with a couple, every once in a while you get one right, like Aliens versus Predator or...
Oh yeah, they should have absolutely done 2D game. They should have put Rayman, stuff like Rayman out right away. And
that comment right there is very funny.
Which one?
Ramey's.
Oh, Ramey's. Yeah, the Jaguar controller. It's the best 5200 controller.
They didn't learn.
I think I cut out the stuff for the controller, but Ted really hates that Jaguar controller.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I know I cut the stuff out, but I like it. I don't know. I don't like the number pad, but I like the way it molds to the hands. But let's get back to the...
All right, man.
The thing.
Ended up with that. But yeah, the whole, collecting artifacts was that there was little statues of the guys, and you would technically collect them when you when you finished their level and beat them, that you would collect them, and then when you would move on. But yeah, originally there was a whole lot more to that aspect of the game, the whole exploration, aspect of it. But it didn't really make a lot of sense in the way that it was executed for a fighting game. And that's difficult because you're talking about, implementing a dungeon crawler into a fighting game, and it's just two completely polar opposite, games. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
You're just
the thing there, and why I wanted to include the Kasumi Ninja thing is because I found that very interesting, Vinny. Like the whole reason I reached out to Ted was just to clarify the Kasumi Ninja thing. Because once I found out there was that dungeon crawler aspect, it's what the hell is that?
Well, I've never played it, so is it included or no? Like they
scrapped it all except for in the character select screen. So basically, you go around in this 3D world, and you select your character, and then you go through the door and you see the versus screen, and that's it. And it's like jarring. Like, why do you got to do this? Because it's not intuitive. It's not fun. But
well, it's just, you could now go back and do a retro fighting game, retro 3D crawler, and it'd be fun. But at the time, to hit a home run, we're going to make the best fighting game of all time, and we're going to make the best dungeon crawler. You're going to fail,
right?
And it's just going to be, one's going to be better. One's going to be better than the other. So you're going to constantly compare. I'm having more fun playing the fighting.
Yeah,
I'm having more fun. So you're shitting on yourself, on your own product. Yeah,
it's like, why do I got to do this dungeon crawling to get to what I really want to do,
or vice versa?
Yep,
exactly.
Absolutely.
There's some good. Now, Jet Screamer, it says I printed a new D-pad for my Jaguar. You 3D printed an entire controller?
No, I'm sure he just took the controller apart and replaced the actual D-pad, probably.
Oh, the little thing.
Yep.
Okay, I got you. Interesting. Yep. And what did Justin mean with this marketing at the time? Understood. What is that? Was
the public perception of it? Atari wasn't very good at the time. You have to remember that there was the 5200. A lot of people skipped the 7800, and they didn't skip the Lynx too. So I assume that their marketing is just like pushing it in your face. Jaguar.
Okay,
that's
what he meant. Okay,
yeah,
I got you. Yeah, and Orlando said the Jaguar just needed some arcade games. They could have done that easily.
Yeah,
just okay.
look at the best games, Tempest and arcade stuff outside of Alien vs Predator and Doom.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, all right, let's let it roll.
Let's roll.
There's no way to make both great or whatever.
Well, and then at that point it became, well, what can we do to make it, to make it so that at least gets the notoriety that it is. So we'll make it super bloody, we'll make it super silly, and we'll make it, everything you can possibly make about it tongue in cheek. And, a lot of it was, incredibly politically incorrect, especially with the faux Japanese voices and all of that stuff that were done by the developer, and, decisions that were way out of my control, that I never would have made.
Well, talk about a winner. Which one? Tell me about something that you were involved in where it was a dog, and then by the time you got done polishing that turd, you were like, this is a pretty damn good game.
I would say that, I wasn't, the producer for it, but I was heavily involved in Tempest. I loved that game. Jeff Minter is an amazing programmer, and he can pull so much out of thin air and just do so much with that, and everything that.
Do you have Jeff Minter's collection yet?
Do I? No, I don't have nothing to play. Well, I could play it on Steam, I guess, right?
You don't have a Switch?
No.
Okay. I'm thinking about getting it. All right. Anyway, I was just going to see if you could play it.
Nope, not yet.
All right.
That everybody on that team accomplished was just amazing, and I'm really happy to have been part of it in any aspect.
No, you did good. Yeah. Give yourself a pat on the back there. Now, you voiced all the voices in Tempest 2000.
All the male voices.
All the male voices, yeah. And then in among all of the things that I did there for being a senior product manager or producer, I did sound effects for a lot of the games. So like Dino Dudes and all that kind of stuff. I love to do Foley work. I've had a Foley studio for as long as I can possibly remember, because I worked in radio before I worked at Atari. So I had, everything that I needed to be able to do that. And, we had really, really tight budgets, and we had really, really tight timelines for development of everything. And, it kind of came down to can you make this happen? So I was sound guy for a lot of the titles that, it just had to be done at a certain amount of time. And so I had to kind of fit that in with everything else that I was doing.
Real quick, the comment that's on the screen now with Azathoth, Ted, I don't know if I included it in there. I think he just said it. The lame announcer voice in that game was not Ted's idea. They knew it was insensitive. They knew it was silly. And that was the whole point. They knew they didn't have a winner. So let's make it bloody. Let's make it silly. Let's make it off the wall. Let's have an American developer pretend to be a Japanese guy and make it horribly insensitive. So,
they were trying to make it like a B movie. Like
exactly.
This thing's a dog. We're trying to we'll make it so goofy that people like it. It's kind of like Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the movie, or something, as a video game.
And I agree with you. As a thought, I don't think it worked. I think it was a way to go. I think it might have been the only way to go. I don't know. I don't know if they could have done a winning thing with that.
Can you imagine just putting all your time and effort into something that is just going to be a huge piece of crap? It's got to be demoralizing.
I mean, I've done that with videos before, and I just don't put them out. But see, all I do is lose my time. These guys have invested so much in these games, you can't afford to do that. You got to put it out because you need the money. So, and then Justin, just clarifying, he has internal marketing material from the launch of the Jag, where they made a decision to downplay the Atari name and put Jaguar and 64-bit at the forefront. Yeah, if you can send a scan, Justin, that'd be awesome. We'd love to.
I'd like to go to Justin's house. He has so much cool stuff. He put something on Instagram the other day, and I was like, all those boxes.
Yep.
Did you see that? And I was like,
why
is he showing us that? Is he getting rid of those, or did he just pick those up? Or?
No, I think he was just showing it off. Yeah, if you're not following Atari IO, if you're not going there and following them on social media, you're missing out on a lot of cool stuff.
He posts something every day. Almost, I think.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask you about the development, because the rumor that I've heard, and maybe this is well known among programmers, the Jaguar, when you programmed for it, it was literally like, here, figure it out. Whereas, like, if you programmed for the upcoming PlayStation at that time, you got tons of documentation, tons of resources and stuff. So that it was literally just, here's your Jaguar development kit.
Yep.
I hope you know what to do with it.
Yeah, with a lot of the stuff from companies like Nintendo and from Sony, they would deliver the development environment, and you'd have the the compiler and everything that you needed to be able to do to program your stuff, and then you had, of course, the development hardware, and PlayStation, just like everything else, and Nintendo, early Nintendo stuff, just like everything else, had issues, just like the Jaguar did. We had a couple of bugs in some of the chips and that kind of stuff, but when they handed a developer a development system, there was no infrastructure with it. So a big part of, if you look at development time for a game, right? So say you've got a year to develop for a game, right? Mm-hmm. You can hit the ground running. If your development team needs to learn the infrastructure of the development environment, then that's going to take some time, right? And then you're going to hit the ground running once you've got your design, and then you're going to move forward to getting feature complete, and then fix all your bugs, and then release it, right? With the Jaguar, especially in the early days for things like Kasumi Ninja and Ultra Vortec and a bunch of the other ones, the developers had to create their own compilers, and they had to complete make their own development environment from scratch. And so but you were still within the 1 year timeline for developing or for delivering the game. So a lot of times, the development environment or lack thereof was a bit of a detriment to, it was a very big detriment to the quality of the titles that we could complete.
So in that year, you had to develop the tools to make the game, and then make the game. Wow.
Now, later on, we did, Atari did deliver, it was fairly bare bones, from a development environment, but it was still a development environment, and they did have tools. So, we eventually did start handing out stuff, but that was well beyond when we were into development for the initial titles, the launch titles.
So now it's making a lot of sense why there was 2 games at launch, and then there was, again, people were complaining there wasn't games coming out quickly. Right. Well, that's the reason why. That's just incredible insight there. It's incredibly sad.
Oh, it was tough times, that's for sure. I mean, a lot of people really give it, like you were saying earlier, some of the worst games ever made. Yeah, well, they were, and for a reason,
And just the fact that they were done at all is incredible, though. I mean,
correct.
Again.
Well, and we originally had some pretty hefty bugs in the infrastructure and in the actual Jaguar itself. So the problem was, when somebody was creating their own development environment, you didn't necessarily know whether a bug that you were seeing was from an inherent bug in the hardware, or if it was from the development environment, the development of the development environment, which was happening concurrently with the actual development of the game, right?
Oh my God.
That was the whole thing, is that, it wasn't about, when we didn't have the tools, or when we didn't have this, or when we didn't have that. It was
how it was.
It was all about, doing everything that we could do to try to make Atari succeed. That was our passion.
I love that passion.
And we slept in our offices. There was so many of us, myself included, that literally lived at the office. And I worked with teams that were in the UK. So I would be in, at midnight when they were getting up at 8 a.m, and that was starting the day. So a lot of times I was there, literally weeks on end. So
this wasn't a job. This was your life.
It literally was. I had a sleeping bag under my desk, and I would say that almost every other producer did as well.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Talk about
wild.
Wow.
That's wild. In retrospect, if people weren't forcing the 3D stuff, you could have made a hell of a lot of great, easier to make 2D games, platformers. And
it was a sprite monster. The Jaguar was a total sprite monster, and especially with the CDs. So I mean, all of a sudden we had, so much space to be able to power all those sprites off of the CD. And I mean, like you said, we could have really done some amazing games. But I think at the time, the Jaguar is 64-bit conversation meant that the Jaguar had to be, all the games had to be 3D. So because 64-bit meant 3D for some reason, because Nintendo at the time, they had their 3D, I'm going to completely forget that it was their F-Zero, and they had the X, it was FX, Super FX chip. Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So higher power, meant 3D games.
That makes so much sense, because in all art, there's that temptation too. Like, I'm a bass player and the best bass players a lot of times have to lay back to serve the song. If they're overplaying, like, look at me, I can do this. Sometimes you screw up the song, especially in that role. And it's kind of the same thing that we're talking about with the Jaguar here. That's unreal. We won't keep you much longer, but I'm going to ask you this: what, as an Atarian and as a gamer, what's your favorite Atari game that you've ever played?
All right. What do you think his answer? I bet you nobody will guess what his favorite Atari game was. I had to leave this in here as a fun question.
I forgot. I thought it would be, I thought he was going to say Tempest 2000. Oh, no, I know. No. I remember now. I know what it is. Nobody's going to guess it.
Nobody's going to guess it.
Yeah,
no. And especially because I cut out some of the relevance to it. But yeah, nobody would guess this. And I think it's an awesome pick because it's a personal pick for him. So we'll get this out of the way. And then this is really
You're not going to believe this. Yeah.
Yep. Here we go. Here's Ted's favorite game.
I think hands down Slime World is still one of my favorite games. You know.
All right. I want to play that 8 people. We got to come over sometime.
Right.
We'll dig up some lynxes out of the ground or something like that.
There you go.
You have anything else for our man here, Ted? John?
No, feel free to have me back anytime. I'm willing to blah blah about old Atari stuff anytime.
Yeah, I feel like we just kind of scratched the surface here, so I definitely want to do something more with you. Maybe we could do a Q&A thing or
well, you want to talk about the controller too, right? I mean, that's a whole conversation in itself. So
thank you so much, Ted. You're the man, man.
It's been a ton of fun. We got to do this again. I'm so glad we finally got to do it, Ted. Thank you so much.
Super cool guy. Thank you for coming on, man. Wow.
Man, amazing.
Yeah, just cool and so much information. And there's not a lot of information about him in the universe, man. I mean, it's that time we don't talk about that time.
That's the thing too. When I reached out to him, I literally messaged him on a certain form of social media, and I said, "Hey, are you the same Ted that did Kasumi Ninja? I found your name in the credits, and I just want to ask you a question." And he literally just came at me like, "Hey, who are you again? Who are you with?" I said, Atari Network, Atari7800forever.com. And yeah, exactly, Vinny. He started really going off saying, "Well, I'd love to do this and that." And here's the thing is Ted really wants to talk to the wider community too. So if you guys are interested, he wants to do a Q&A, come on live, and he wants to do a whole thing with this stuff. So if you guys like the interview and you want to hear more of what he has to say, not only about the Jaguar, but about the Lynx, the condition of Atari of the time and stuff, he's open to clearing up a lot of the misinformation that's out there or confirming some of our suspicions.
And he's a homer too. He's very proud of working for Atari, and he liked the people that was working there at the time. We're going to have both of our channels, which will be the Atari Network YouTube channel and also the brand new Atari 7800 Forever channel. Please go over and subscribe and like it. I've got 2 new videos. I put up a video every day this week, but 2 of them are brand new. But we're going to have that interview in full on both.
In what?
In full.
In full.
And I asked him about Jack Tramiel, about him being overly religious. And he's like, I'm gonna Jack Tramiel. He's gonna be like, and he was like, dude, I don't want to talk about that. So we kind of even had a contentious part to the interview. But he was, it's a good interview, and there's a lot of, people shit on Jack and his son and that time, and maybe they should, but he was actually a defender of the Tramiels. So
the thing is, you could tell that he was very close to, and maybe still is very close to, the Tramiels. He had nothing but good things to say about Jack, about Sam especially, who you gotta remember at that time Jack had stepped down and Sam was really running the show until his health problems started up. So I wouldn't dig too much into that, because I think he made it clear that he won't comment on a lot of the rumors and stuff, but a lot of the funner questions you have, he'll touch on.
Oh, he was cool, man. I mean, and I like the fact that says a lot to me. I mean, he wasn't just going to give in to some sort of question from a guy he didn't know. He was like, these are my friends. And that's good to hear, because there were people that were sticking together, and a lot of people, that like when Jack and Sam ran the company, and maybe they weren't so bad.
And you could tell, especially by the end of that video where he was talking about how hard they were working, sleeping under the desks. I mean, you could tell that, they were working their butts off, and I'm sure it sounded like Sam really believed in everything. Jack, we didn't find too much about. But yeah, it sounded like he really stuck up for Sam as somebody who believed in the Jaguar and wanted it to succeed. Justin has some insight from Lance. Just to give you an idea how Jack managed things, a programmer was developing a game for the Jag CD. Atari had $1 million tied up in it. He went to the manager and said, I need some blank CDRs. Manager said, I don't have any. What do you mean this is a $1 million game? Manager said, I don't know. Jack's waiting for a good sale on CDRs. Do the best you can with what you got. Yeah, I'm not saying Jack was perfect, and obviously, I mean, Jack was, there's a lot of stories like that, like the 7800 when that went for sale, and he was talking to GCC. He said, we're going to sell your console for $49.99. He said, what do you mean $49.99? That we won't make any profit off of it. The store won't make any profit. He said, the store can sell socks. That's where they'll make their money, socks. So Jack was just a crude man. He didn't care.
Well, he cared about the bottom line. And
yep.
He wanted to make business. He wanted to make some money. Well, good interview, John. That was a good find, and we got to get Lance. Lance is an interesting character from the post Warner Brother Atari, and the post Nolan Bushnell, and the post Atari Inc. Atari, and pre-Infogram and all that stuff. So Lance would be great, and Lance is finding some new EPROMs, or not new, but old EPROMs with this
new to us.
Yeah. And speaking, there was a girl in the chat that said Raiders of the Lost Ark was her favorite game, and I think Lance just found some EPROMs of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah. I don't know what it means. What is it? Who cares if you find prototypes or EPROMs of games that have already been released? Are there new things on it or something, or like different versions?
I think it shows like. It's kind of interesting to see where the game started, how it progressed, that sort of thing. I think people like seeing that, because again, there's a lot of things out there. If you get Atari ROM packs and stuff, there's a lot of earlier versions of these ROMs out there, and it's kind of fun to see what these games were before.
Okay, so you just horse around with them and see, this is where they went, or this is where they started. Okay,
right,
that's cool.
Yeah, we gotta have Lance on because he's doing so much right now. I think now is a good time to talk to Lance, especially if.
Well, I know for the 7800, that's what we focus on. He found Road Riot, at least incomplete, and he also found the Atari fixed version of Impossible Mission. Did you know that?
Yep. Yeah, I saw that too.
He found the fixed version of Impossible Mission.
It was dated really late too, I think. What was it, 89 or something?
They just didn't give a crap.
Yeah, no. They fixed it and threw it in a drawer. So Rex is right. This is really why it's interesting. You can compare code to final versions, find possibly cut content and other data. So it really helps. He also says it helps the homebrew scene. I'm sure it helps the homebrew scene a ton. Especially if they're recreating certain things or what have you. So absolutely. But yeah, that was a great interview, Vinny. You had a lot of really good questions. I had to cut out a lot of the banter, but you really carried that thing for the first freaking 40 minutes of the 55.
I talk too much,
Yeah.
But it's I love Atari. I played Atari today with a guy that never hardly ever played it before, and he was like, we played Yar's Revenge, which we did well on. And have you ever played any of the recharge games with different humans, with friends or anything? You force your children to play it. There's the Berserk Recharge is pretty good. Yar's Recharge is really good.
Yeah.
Cavern of Mars is interesting, but Gravatar is effing great. It makes that game even better, man. It's
Really?
Yes, I can't wait. If you ever blow through where I live, if you come on over, man, we'll just have a big old time.
I've been waiting for some stuff at work to clear up, and then I'll probably drive through.
We can break the world records on these leaderboards. Me and my friend, he was terrible at Berserk, and we almost got in the top 10 on Berserk. So as a tag team.
John was the eye candy this week. Toe Muncher. Hey, did you know that Atari Club has many games on the website? Yeah, Vinny, didn't you bring up the math thing? Isn't that?
Yeah, we're playing basic math recharged, and we were challenging ourselves with high school. He's from Toledo. I'm from Baltimore. We went to public high school. We did not do well with the basic math game.
Let me move this around real quick. So we're gonna move on. As far as multiplayer with Atari goes, yeah, my kids are too old now to kind of force down to play with me. They can fight back now, so
you can't punish them or reward them with ice cream.
Yeah, exactly.
My kids used to play Frenzy with me, Bob DeCrescenzo's version.
Yep.
And they would sit there. Oh yeah, this is a lot of fun. You can kind of see them like looking around, like I want to go into another room.
But there could be an opportunity very soon to play some multiplayer stuff if you go to a lot of barcades and Dave & Buster's and stuff, because Atari, Vinny, is coming back to the arcades.
I didn't do any research on that, but that is exciting and it's genius. I mean, again, what is that going to sit on the wait, I thought you were talking about like sitting on top of the counter near the bartender.
No, this is a full-sized arcade machine. It's Asteroids Recharged. So they've teamed up with Allen One is the name of this company who they worked with previously on something else. I can't remember off the top of my head. And basically they're putting out the Recharge games into Dave & Buster's and stuff like that. This massive unit is supposedly the prototype. I don't know if it's completed or not. And it's a 3-player version. A 3-player version of Asteroids Recharged. I don't know. I have so many questions about this. Why 3 players? Why not 4?
Well, I mean, it's better than 2. And that's the worst Recharge game. So it would be cool to see them breaking into Yar's Revenge would be great. And Gravatar might be a little too adventure based. But Missile Command would be good. Man, Missile Command would make you some money too, because the games are really quick, because it just does not stop beating your head in. But Black Widow would be great.
That'd be an awesome one. Yeah. Or even I think Quantum, is that what it is?
Oh, that would suck. What are you talking about?
I think that would be cool. Like after having a few beers and kind of making that thing move around. I don't know. It might make me dizzy.
3-player Berserk Recharge would be interesting.
That'd be interesting too. I'm curious what changes, if any, they're going to do to these games.
I think they tweak Asteroids.
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly what I was going to say. I hope they do some tweaks to make the 3-player component really something major about it.
Well, Joe Babe said that he likes or she, I don't know, you can't guess anymore.
Don't assume, Benny. Yeah.
Don't assume. Whatever you are,
everybody give us your pronouns.
Yeah, whatever you are. Mine is asshole, ass hat.
Right.
But I think
mine is loser, losey. So
yes, I think Asteroids is really bad as a recharge game, and it's my least favorite. But Black Widow is badass. Yeah, the Asteroids game is terrible because all the bad ships come from one side. The asteroids don't move up fast enough to kill you, and it's nonstop power-ups. They should space the power-ups out.
Yeah, I think they got to do some tweaking to make that something I'd be willing.
Dork.
Yeah, Dingus Dork. That's a good one.
I like that one.
Yeah, I think they got to do a lot of tweaking to make that something that I'd really pump some quarters into. I don't even know how much does it cost to play these anymore. I don't even know.
I don't know either. Probably at least 50 cents. I mean, the Atari stuff, probably 50 cents.
Joe Babe is a 50-year-old Atari, not to clarify. So it still didn't say gender.
It has to be a man.
It has to be. Well, no, yeah. Right.
We've had one girl all night long. There's mathematically
Yeah, that's probably the only girl between our
left
channels.
Already.
Yeah,
she left already. So
she left as soon as Ted left. That was the eye candy for the night.
oh yeah.
Oh, look at that! Oh, damn! I see some meat. Yeah, look at that.
I used to beat some people in the neck. And
yeah, I used
chest.
to break their legs.
Figure
I
4.
guess the only other news, we already talked about the VCS release of Crystal Castles or Crystal Quest, I guess.
Oh,
and
the art is awesome.
It looks really good. I wish I would have grabbed that art to show off. Because I was surprised. I thought it was just going to be the box art, and I was kind of happy because as much as I love that game and I love Robert DeCrescenzo, hallowed be his name, I don't I don't like that box art. I think that box art looks awful. Yeah.
Whoever did it, I'm sorry, and I don't. You were going for it. And I think there was a contest over at Atari Age, and they picked that. But yeah, the new art for Crystal Quest is amazing.
Yeah, it looks really good. I like it. And then the other one was Space Duel. I think that's an odd homebrew to put on there. I don't think it's a bad one, but like we were talking
Space Duel.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like we were talking there. You told me, hey, remember in the arcade how they have the tethering mechanic, and of course I never played it in the arcades, so I was like, "What you talking about?" But
have you played Vector Sector on the 50th?
Nope, I haven't tried.
Why? That's the best. That's one of the best Atari games of all time, and you would love it, man.
Oh, I'm sure I would.
But you can also play, like, if you had a friend come over, you could play tethered Vector Sector. Vector Sector combines Asteroids, Lunar Lander, Road Blasters, Tempest, Gravatar, Space Duel, Asteroids Deluxe, all in one game. I mean, it's insanely fun. And what?
Most of my time with the 50th collection is like I watched all the interviews, and then it's kind of like, oh, what's this? Oh, what's that? And then I don't end up playing half the stuff I wanted to. I
played the best game on the damn thing because they screwed up Tempest 2000 for this.
Last time I played an hour and a half of Scrapyard Dog for the Lynx, I think. And it's like, why did I spend that much?
Why are you playing that? Play Vector Sector.
I don't know. I wanted to.
No, stop that.
Oh, I tried. The only other announcement we had for the BCS, there was an update for the BCS. Have you noticed anything new?
Yeah, because I played it today with my friend. When you
just
pause,
showing off with that friend stuff again.
Well, I mean, he's not really a friend. He's a cat. I picked him up at the bus station. He's a Hispanic-speaking man. I've tied him to a chair. And
he's doing work on your patio.
No, all he does is I've tied him up. All he does is play Atari with me, or I'll punch him in the face.
Oh, we have a young kid in here, 16 going on 17, and he munches toes.
Toe muncher. Well, you and Quentin Tarantino would get along.
Oh, yeah.
But if you hit pause, like the only thing I really noticed, it's taking a lot longer for games to load.
Thank you, Pack Billy.
Really? And then when you hit pause, the like a little box art or the little thumbnail comes up with the game you're playing. But maybe you forgot what you were doing. But I haven't noticed. There's a new update for Neo Sprint again. They're really pushing that. Atari is at PAX East. They have an entire what's the word? A kiosk for Neo Sprint. It's like, okay, but they've got Quamp 2. And I guess Lunar Lander's coming out.
Yep, and Lunar Lander it's official. It's coming to the VCS. Now, there's some speculation. Some people are wondering if you have to do like a RAM upgrade to your VCS for it to work. I don't know. I think it would just work. I don't think they would make you go through all that, but who knows at this point.
There's a lot of anime a lot of anime cutscenes and stuff, and that worries me.
Yeah, it's kind of going that route of
I don't like
Neo Sprint, but even further. I mean, Neo Sprint just had the avatars. This is like full on anime cutscenes, ain't it, and stuff like that.
I mean, that's cool. I mean, the game may suck. Who knows? It may be great, but we'll see. I don't believe. I mean, if you've got the 50th anniversary collection and you're not playing Vector Sector, It's the best GD game on the thing since Tempest 2000 is dorked. Tempest 2000 is dorked up, so the best game on it is Vector Sector by far.
Yeah. I'll definitely give it a try next time I pop it in. Like I said, most of my time playing that, I watch a couple interviews, and then, like I said,
you're a nerd. You like going to museums and just licking the wall?
That's the awesome part of that 50th collection. You haven't watched the interviews on there?
No, I'm a video game player. If I want to go watch the interviews, I conduct the interviews myself.
Well, then, Vinny, why would people watch our podcast? We just did 45 minutes on it.
Because it's me. Me! Look at him freaking I'm strong like Hulk.
Well, look at that. Yeah.
Do you I had something I was going to say. Oh, Gunslugs. I haven't played that. There's still so much on the VCS I saw that. I need to pick up.
I picked up some new stuff on the VCS. I just downloaded
Raimi's funny.
Yeah, I like yeah, whatever.
Oh, Pac Billy says, why is Tempest 2000 dorked up?
Yeah,
this is the most Atari thing in the world. Their best game on the 50th doesn't play right on the VCS. If you have the classic controller, if you go to the warp screen, you just can't do this. You have to plug in two controllers and steer yourself through the warp screens with two controllers, just like the rotary controller for the Jaguar. When you had the rotary controller, they made a controller for Tempest 2000 that didn't work right.
Well, the Atari didn't.
I know, but you still, like, somebody spent all that time. Can you imagine a Robotron controller for the 7800 that didn't quite work right?
There is one out there that has like a switch on it that I seen, like just a little like silver switch, and from there you can choose to run the D-pad or the rotary thing. So that kind of fixes that. Vinny, you're muted.
I know, but so mid game, you can flip the switch. You can go through the warp, and then when it's the girl is orgasming at this guy's wife we just interviewed, and she's
Jesus,
and when she's going off like that, moaning like hell, you can switch it back, and then you can. That would be cool. See, that would fix it. But
somebody did that,
on the Atari VCS for the 50th anniversary collection. It's jacked up. Yeah.
Yep,
the best game is still screwed up.
Yeah. The other thing that we were talking about Hugo earlier, and I meant to mention this, his stuff got kicked off of eBay again, and I don't know why.
Hugo, I'm serious. The brass knuckle controller for the 7800. Let's put a disco ball on it. We'll make a Funkmaster V. I want to support this controller. I think this is the best controller. I've got people send me stuff all the time, and most of them are very, very, very good. I think that controller for the 7800 you made is the best layout. I enjoy the hell out of it.
Yeah, I don't know either, but I don't know why Atari's messing with Hugo like that. They've made him pull his controllers twice now. And Retro Game Boys doesn't seem to have this issue, or a lot of these other third parties.
You need the power of the funk, Hugo. Brand this disco ball. We'll put some loud colors like orange and yellow. We'll put some brass knuckle insignia on this. This will be the brass knuckle punch. Atari 7800 controller, endorsed by Funkmaster V. Dude, have you seen these movies? I fight giants and demons and freaking people with their heads cut off and stuff. I'm swinging at the fences. But man, what a good controller that is.
Get a hold of Vinny. We'll help you out however we can, Hugo, because his stuff is really good. Vinny likes that one. The gamepad's excellent too, and it's competitively priced with the Atari offering, and I think it's actually a little better in my opinion. But
I don't know why they're giving him grief.
Must
be the word Atari or something.
Well, they made him change, because first he put in, I think, for like the 7800, 2600 plus, and then they said, well, no, you can't say it's for it. You can say it's compatible with. And he said, okay, so he fixed it, and then they made him pull it again, and I don't understand.
Nah, them guys. Well, they made you change. They affected your channel too.
Yeah, that's why our logo looks
looks
goofy now.
It looks good. You're not going to sell so many mugs now, but
no, yeah, the sales for the stuff just fell off a cliff.
Well, I mean, it's their intellectual property.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Well, this is everybody's favorite part of the show where you can talk trash to Vinny. So for $4.99, you can make Vinny cry. This is the audience.
I'm telling you, Hugo. Right here. The Brass Knuckle Punch 5000 by Hugo.
I like that name. Yep, let's use Ramey's name. Yeah, I agree with Pack Billy. It's not like they have copyrighted controller. Like, yeah, they don't own the controllers. I don't know.
Well, they could probably fight it. I mean, me and you both have had copyright strikes.
Yeah.
I won mine, by the way.
Oh, like yeah, that's right. Yeah, congratulations. Yeah. I meant to talk to you about that, but you've been ignoring me so much lately because you have a new friend.
Just busy this week.
No, yeah, I know. But yeah, congratulations on that. Yeah, that kitty cat bit the dust and you came out triumphant. So you need access to my StreamYard again, I assume.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta get it over to gotta get it over. Yeah, the Tubi Tuesday movie night will be on Big and Funky Productions.
And that's on the Big and Funky Productions YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, I can't say what movie we're watching for the next week. Not next week, but because it will affect your algorithm and you won't get as many hits.
Yeah, don't say that. I saw the title.
Kung Fu and
blank
Memories. And if you know what
there you go.
It's the parlance for memories. The current parlance for memories.
Nice save. It
begins with a T.
Yeah, I'm really glad you won. I figured you would because, it's one thing if you sit there and just watch it, but if you watch a trailer and talk about it and you show a clip here or there, it's really not that different. But it's one thing, though, going against Lava Lamp and whatever and Kitty Cat Girl, but, going against Atari is a whole different thing because they actually might have lawyers. It gets a little scary. But yeah, Justin over at Atari IO says, sign me up for one of those joysticks. Super solid. I'd love one. Yeah, you can get...
great. They're fucking great.
Yeah, I love them. Hopefully Hugo's put them back up. He does have his own store. Let me see if I can find it real quick just for you guys. And don't forget, while I'm looking up this, don't forget to subscribe over to Vinny's new YouTube channel for all your Atari stuff. You put out a really cool Donkey Kong video.
Somebody unliked it. Like I don't have 100% likes, and it's like that's one of the best videos I've ever done.
Somebody, people
I even
always
put I even put a Bruce Springsteen impression in there. I tried like hell. I got the PK version of Donkey Kong for the 7800 in the arcade and timed it up to where you can see what they look like at the same time. And that makes it, to me, I didn't even realize it, but when I was watching it, I was like, this is impressive. This Donkey Kong PK for the 7800 is a beast, man.
Yep.
It's frankly superior to the arcade version because you can choose you can choose the screen order and the difficulty and where you start.
Yeah, you can still get the joysticks, by the way. Hugo just clarified the gamepad.
Hugo is ignoring me saying, let's brand this thing. I have fans, dude. I have fans. We got people that will buy this crap just because my name's on it, dude.
Hugo, if you want to talk business, just come talk to me.
He's ignoring me. It's okay. No, I still love it. I'm gonna paint it and pretend that I made it.
But yeah, okay, so those are up. So yeah, go check those out. They keep taking the joypads down. I don't know why. But yeah, that video was awesome, Vinny. I did enjoy it quite a bit.
Thank you.
Very good look at that. And if you haven't watched it already, go check it out. Just type in on your YouTube search bar after this is done, 7800 Forever, Atari 7800 Forever, and subscribe to his channel. Make sure you comment. That's the big thing. I think people don't understand how much liking and commenting helps these videos. So.
It helps a lot. It really
absolutely.
So we're kind of back to square one over there. I've got like 40 subscribers as opposed to 1,200 on the. So I'm still doing the stuff on the Big and Funky, which is like my paranormal TV show, all the stuff about our horror comedy movies. The comedy sketches are still over there. And the Tuesday movie night will be back after we won our copyright strike. So there'll be plenty of stuff over there happening, but I just need some love getting the Atari thing kicked off. And we got a great video. Do you want to say anything about this video, or do you just want to do it? You want to hit them in the teeth?
What video?
The one we've been working on for weeks.
Oh. No, we can hit them in the teeth. Let's just.
You want to tell them? You want to drop a hint?
Yeah, go ahead. Drop a hint.
Okay, so we're gonna put this on John's because I think this will be a big video, and this was my idea, but I want John to have because John has helped me, and he's such a nice guy. But we're gonna do, and we've put a lot of work into this, guys. The top. We're gonna do a video, combined video. We're gonna put it on Atari, or we're gonna put it on the Atari Network. It's gonna be the top 100 Atari games of all time, and we have debated. We spent 2.5 hours.
Hint.
Yeah, Oh yeah. So that's the hint. What it really is a little different.
It's the top 1,000.
Yeah, we spent 2.5 hours the other night debating.
On the phone,
over that, and we're trying to get it polished up nice, and I think you guys will freak out over that video. It's going to be nice.
Yeah, it's definitely, it'll get people talking, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. So Joe Babe, who is that? Joe Babe or my Babe? I don't know. Either way, he just subscribed to 7800 forever.
My ho or your ho?
What's this? Gyrus? Or how do you pronounce that word? Is it gyrus or gyrus?
Gyrus. Because it's based on a gyroscope, man. Come on.
Gyrus, best be on it. That's Ramey's favorite game. You're going to make him mad. And we got to go redo the whole list now.
Gotta slide around. We'll put it at 78. How about that?
78. There you go. He said call the gamepad the retard pad. See, there's no D, so it's fine. Oh, here we go. Again with pronunciation. I had this on Man vs. 7800.
That could be Gyrus.
Gyrus.
That's in Japan. That would be Gyrus. Gyrus.
Oh, yeah. Gyrus. No, I did. I call it Ikiri Warriors. I did that on Man vs. 7800, and of course, the second I say the word, I get tons of corrections on the chat. They spell it out for me. They try.
You gotta lean into that nice guy thing. People would say, I'm from Toledo. I mean, I always thought it was karateka because karate, right?
Okay, now here's how do you say that?
Karate. Stop. No, karateka is pronounced karateka.
Well, that's how I always said it was karateka, and people said no, it's karateka.
No, it's karateka. Okay. We know that you got that one right. That's gyrus, man.
Okay, here we go again.
It's based on
Ikari.
Ikari. It's more Ikari. It's like
what did I say? Oh, Ikiri.
Yeah. That's like your plastic furniture from Scandinavia is what you were saying. IKEA.
Karate. That's not even.
Ramey's having a small
and then
seizure.
So he says it's gyrus.
Honey, and listen to
Ramey
Daddy.
says it's Jizrus. So
Jizrus? No, he doesn't. Just stop.
Okay. All right.
It's a derivation. I don't know if they taught you this in Toledo school from the word gyro.
I don't even know what you just said. What's that big word?
It comes from the word gyro. That's where gyrus comes from because it's spinning in a circle like a gyro.
Yeah, I had one of those the other night. Yeah.
Yes.
Gyro with lamb and
that's a gyro.
Oh.
Somebody help. I'm going to type this here for you. So we go gyro. Okay. There you go, Toledo.
All right, let me see. Gyro.
That's how you spell
gyro.
Yeah, I'm from Tennessee. It's like down here, it's gyro. But in Greece, it's also gyro. So
that's another jive turkey. That's another Tennessee phrase, ain't it?
No, that's ghetto.
That's ghetto.
That's like inner city from the 70s. Hugo, you're ignoring my pleas for the collaboration on your damn
Hugo,
controller.
see, you should have emailed Hugo back when I told
did.
you to. You ignored him for so
long.
He's given you.
I know.
That was an accident, Hugo. I didn't mean to say it was Jesus. What did he say?
Well, watch out now. That's the Lord. Don't get the Lord
I can't say that.
involved in all this stuff.
Sorry, guys. Sorry
all
to all
brother.
of our Christian viewers.
Do we have any other topics for tonight?
The big topics has been covered. Again, if you're waiting, or if you like the interview, you can go to either of our channels. It should be up on both on Tuesday for the full version. There's a full 30 more minutes that I had to cut for the podcast because I knew we'd stop and talk. And we don't want this to be a 3-hour ordeal. But
I pissed him off.
Yeah, a little
So
bit.
You can see I got a little riled up. So So there's some of that too.
If you don't want to wait, the audio is up on my Patreon. If you subscribe to the Patreon, it's audio only. You don't get to see the dirty looks that Vinny got, but you get to hear the resentment in his voice. so head over to patreons.com/7800progamer if you're interested in that. You can also, after the podcast, people were asking a long time ago, and they're probably long gone now, for audio only versions of this podcast. They are up on Patreon, and you don't have to pay for it. I think you do have to sign up for Patreon, but if you want audio only versions that you can download, put on your favorite MP3 player from 15 years ago, and listen to, that's up there on Patreon. So
I thought we were on like Spotify and podcasts.
Oh, see, there was some issues with that. So I wanted to get us on Apple, and we can, but for some reason my Apple account is screwed up. And then, so I couldn't do that. Vinny, you could probably do that. And then, I put it on Spotify for podcasters, but there was something weird with that. I'll have to talk to you about it off the air.
Okay.
So it's on Patreon for free. All you gotta do is have a Patreon account. You don't have to pay any money, and just become a free member of Patreon. You can download them, or just listen to them off the website. So.
All right, let's go through these comments and we'll say goodnight to these lovely people.
Yep, Rex says, let's see. Found a Jaguar local to me for a mere $300 American brand fun bucks. But knowing my luck, the seller already sold it and didn't take the ad down, still sent an offer. $300 ain't bad for a Jaguar, especially if it has some stuff coming. Hugo's finally talking to you, Vinny. He wants to know if that game room tour is coming.
It is. I've just been so busy, and I've been trying to do. I will. I promise. I will.
You did put up an older collection video. That one's really good. That was probably the first video of yours I ever watched. So
124, and I probably now have getting close to 150 cards. So I got to redo that one.
I think I'm getting close to 120. So I've been trying to catch you, but you keep getting further and further from me. Bing Crosby and Ben Franklin were pimps.
Pimping ain't easy.
Yeah, but it's necessary. If Atari was a person, would it be city person or country gal? It would be city, right?
It'd be no, I think it'd be more of a California girl.
Yeah. California. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
It's. I mean, Atari was really the genesis of Steve Jobs, Silicon Valley. I mean, smoking pot at work kind of thing. Yep. I mean, coming in, working at 4 a.m, that kind of vibe.
They had the hot tub meetings or something I read about. Yeah. It sounded like a cool place.
California guy for sure.
Ramey says you can find her podcast on Sporkify and Portcast. So make sure you check out your Sporkify and leave us a lot of blurps. And then he says Vinny's too busy pimping. What do you think, Vinny? We're caught up on the chat, I think.
Yeah.
At the end of it.
Again, just beseeching everybody that's left, please, Atari 7800 Forever on YouTube. Don't forget, Atari7800forever.com is the mother of all websites. It's the biggest Atari 7800 website on the planet. And also be sure to check out bigandfunkyproductions.com. One of my movies, Vinny's Fantastic Rock and Roll Adventure is now on Amazon, which is awesome.
Oh, wow.
and but you can watch it free on Tubi, and that is a comedy/musical. And you get to see me without my shirt on quite a bit, you horny dudes. And what do you have, bro?
Real quick, I just want, as a thought said, anybody with Amazon Prime, several recharge games are free right now for PC. So if you have Amazon Prime, check that out. It seems like they always have free stuff on there. Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of Prime, you can watch my movie and play some recharge games.
Yeah, that's a good night right there. Vinny's Fantastic Adventure, and hopefully one of the better recharge games. They're all good, really. Even the bad.
They're all pretty good. They're all pretty good. Atari Asteroids is the worst.
Absolutely, and as I said, I think we already basically hoed out the Patreon or pimped it out. But like Ramey said, it's $5. Support the channel. It helps everything grow.
What a guy. Thank you, Ramey.
Yeah, thank you so much. Apparently my mic's breaking, so I might have to get a new one soon.
There is a high-pitched noise, but I was going to talk to you about that after the show.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this thing because I know it's not great right now.
You got to point your microphone towards Mecca.
Is that better?
Yeah, to the east. Yeah.
To the east. There we go. Okay, so just check out the Atari Network. We have a video up on Confessions of a VCS Owner. So if you want to know all the naughty little secrets of somebody
good amount of hits, man. I saw that 1,400 hits in a day.
Yeah,
that's pretty sexy, man. You're back.
Yeah, I'm back. Man, that last video did really bad, but yeah, we're back now. So make sure you check that out. Subscribe. We do 2 videos a week, 1 review every weekend, and a featured Thursday video. So check all that out. All right, guys, I'm gonna find out what's going on with this microphone because it's acting up.
Oh, they asked the van movie was the last one I shot. That was the one we went down Route 66 in Las Vegas, and then we just last Tuesday we got together. We were writing the 4th movie in the Smoky Mountain Chronicles about Oak Ridge and AI. We're also involved in one called Swipe Wrong, which is about a dating app that turns kind of into a mystical thing. And then we're also involved with another production company making a movie about Door Dashers getting involved in a drug cartel by accident. But anyway.
Oh, wow. Yeah, there's always cool stuff with Big and Funky Productions. I like what you guys do over there. So make sure you check that out. But yeah, so I think that's the show. Is who taking a break? Vinny, are you taking a break?
From what?
From
life?
From life, yeah.
I may drop dead soon. I'm so busy, but no, I'm not taking a break.
Vinny's taking a break from showing up on time for the podcast is what he's taking a break for. But of course, we have a backup that's just as good. So anytime you're late, we have this fella that can step in for you. All right, guys. I think that's our podcast. Thanks for listening to my microphone hum, and I think we're out. Look at those 19-inch pythons.